Alright, what's going on everybody? Before we get into the video, I'll answer the question I had when I first started farming. Press LT on a plot and you can open the menu and there you go. Now you may leave the video if that's all you were looking for. As for the rest of you, let's get started with farming. First things first, head on over to Heidel with at least 100 contribution points to spend for a large farm in order to get the most out of this life skill. It's not mandatory, but if you're looking for a guide just to figure out how to place some damn crops in the ground, chances are you're probably serious about this and want that farmer smoke. I usually get 100 CP farm because I do a lot of cooking on the side of grinding and other stuff, so with a large batch of materials coming in from farming, I just gotta say that the 100 CP definitely helps out by a lot. So it's not mandatory, but if, like I said, you're serious about farming, you for sure want this. But there are some people that don't use farming for cooking and just use it for magical seeds so they can sell it after every breeding session, which I realize that saying that out loud, it's incredibly weird, but trust me, it's not what you think it is. Now, how you want to start farming is by placing your plots down and then buying some special seeds of choice off the market. You might be wondering, where should you place your farm? It's kind of really up to you. My recommendation is this hill up by Valia. It's just like going towards Agris Step. I place it here. It seems to be the easiest farm spot because it's nothing but flat ground and the crops grow relatively quick. So it's one of those things that you can look around. There are better spots than this for sure, but those are for like the most insane farmers. So do your own research and figure out where you want to place your plants. It also depends on what crop you're growing too. So if you're growing something that needs a better climate or whatever, then you may want to look elsewhere. But for what I do, which is onions, I just put this shit up here and it's fine. Now some of you might ask me, what is the best thing to farm? And I can't really answer that question for obvious reasons. For those of you that may or may not know, that if you give the keys to success in this game, you basically throw it away. Okay, so if I tell you what's best, then however many people watch the video will attempt to farm the exact same thing. So keep that in mind. Let's say everyone starts farming onions, right? And then they start selling them on the CM. Then the market will drop because people undercut each other. If y'all would stop undercutting, it would be fine, but you don't. So because everyone tries to farm the exact same thing or sell the same thing, the market drops exponentially. And yeah, you can't really tell players, you basically have to teach a man to fish so that way he eats forever. You throw a man a fish, he eats for a day. So it's one of those things. It's the same concept here. You have to learn to play the game yourself. You can't be looking for handouts because BDO doesn't do that. Honestly, just look at the market and see what's worthwhile cooking or selling and find exactly what you're looking for. Anyway, once that's done, go ahead and buy your seeds and start planting the seeds within your farm. Don't forget to buy some fertilizer and a shit ton of water from the chef and hotkey them to your ring menu so that way you can spam them on your farm. You're going to want to use fertilizer and water to keep your crops watered, of course, and you want the fertilizer to help them grow. So you don't necessarily need these things, but these will rapidly increase the time of growth. So it's one of those things that choose. You can spend extra money, and it's not really that expensive either, actually. I've had the same 1,000 fertilizers since I bought this shit months ago. So it really doesn't take that much. But, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But for me, I do it. Once that is done, you are going to press the fertilizer key 3 to 4 times to max out the fertilizer section. Then you are going to press the water key 20 times to make sure you max out the water section. As I mentioned, the reason you're going to do this is so that way it'll help the farm grow a lot faster. Now you are going to camp here for what feels like an eternity with all life skill buffs as much as possible, and you are going to prune all the farm while they grow. The reason you are doing this and wasting your life here is so you can get XP as quick as possible for Artisan 1. Once you're Artisan 1, you can now get magical seeds from your farm, which are basically Jesus seeds that give a shit ton of the product. Or if you're breeding, then you can reobtain some more magical seeds and get up to 3 at once, which is really good because then you can sell these magical seeds to the vendor. More on that in a minute, but I don't really recommend this, to be honest. What I would do instead is get all the magical seeds and then refill your entire farm with magical seeds. You'll make more money from products, or you'll make more money just from selling the seeds. Either which way, you want to fill your entire farm with magical seeds. That's basically the dream of farming, having an entire farm with magical seeds. So there you go. Now, after your artisan one and have your magical farm of garbage, you have two options: farm mats for cooking or farm magical seeds to vendor for cheap money. My advice is the latter. Even if you're not cooking yourself, you can easily make profit off of the mats at large batches, like special onions, for example. I'm not saying you should sell these because I don't think you should. They don't really sell too well on the market. But if you were to sell onions, and let's say they did sell, you can pretty much like sell for what? I think they're about 8,000 right now. So if we take that, and then I have 20,000 onions currently in my Calpheon storage, my profit would be about 160 million without tax being factored in and whatnot. So that's just like a week of tending to my farm 2 or 3 times a day. So yeah, I mean, that's 160 million extra on top of, like, you know, my grind sessions, my gathering sessions, my cooking sessions. That's a lot of money that's coming in extra from the week. Not to mention, we get byproducts from farming, which can be turned into stonetail fodder, which currently is selling for about 1.5 to 2 million a pop. I usually save up till I can make about 50 stonetail fodder, and then I sell on the CM, which is another 100 some odd million. And if you take a look at that, we're making 200 million extra silver a week for basically 10 minutes of work a day. So we times that by 4, because, you know, 4 weeks in a month, you're looking at 800 million. 800 million extra silver a month. So if you're grinding and you're making, usually per week, I make about 2 bill, I want to say per week. So we add this on top of that, that was without farming. I mean, that's still good money, almost an extra bill. I should mention some things to help you get a little bit faster with this. So as I mentioned earlier, I built this farm on the cliff outside of Valia, which I guess it's the easiest to manage. But the reason I also like this cliff is because since the ground is so flat, you can place them next to each other and you can stand in the center of all of your plots. As long as you place them directly next to each other, you stand right dead center of all 4 plots, and then you can go ahead and fertilize and water at the exact same time for 4 plots. That is absolutely fantastic, and it cuts down the refill time immensely. This is a core thing you should do at all times. It's super good and I love it. I wish I had known about that earlier, because before I was doing it 1 by 1, and then somebody told me that you can mass refill, and I was like, holy shit, this just shaved me 10 minutes off my timer for this. And the rest is honestly up to you. It's whatever you want to do. Do some research, check BDO day, input your own prices, figure out what is worth making money on. Remember, I cannot tell you what to sell, what to buy, what to farm. I can only tell you how to do it, and then you figure out where the money is. Currently, right now, the console marketplace is in absolute shambles, so you may not find something that's going to give you a large amount of profit, but you may find something that'll at least sustain you, so that way you can still make gains monthly. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, she knows I'm the one. Yeah, she knows I don't need no cutting, I don't need no